Now joining us to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from all around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Afeni and of course Dayo Shobowale. Mr. Emmanuel Afeni, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Vemba.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I can see that you and Mr. Shobowale are having matching ties today.
Good afternoon, Shaitan.
Mustard Day.
Yes.
Well, we'll start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. We'll start with the story above the masthead, the window story. L'Oreal Paris announces multi-talented Temi Otedola new ambassador for Africa. Actress is first Nigerian to represent iconic beauty brand. Of course, the photograph of Temi Otedola, then the front page of this day, making Nigeria proud. Temi Otedola, newly appointed brand ambassador of iconic L'Oreal Paris. Shaitan,
Exciting
is that
times.
your brand also?
No, this is international L'Oreal Paris. I mean,
Of course,
this is fantastic news. First off, you're right, Mr. Ifeni. She's the first Nigerian. They have other ambassadors, including Kendall Jenner and Viola Davis, who are very big stars. So to see Temi, she's really been doing amazing things. She's an actress. She's in a bunch of movies. She's a big fashion girly. So to now see her in this light, that picture looks really amazing. Congratulations to her.
She's also a wife, the wife of Mr.
Oh,
Easy, the
sure.
musician.
Well, yes.
When did they get married?
Oh, their music video was actually their wedding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Okay, let's look at other issues on the front page of this day. The lead story, Bagudu, 62,000 naira recommended wage in national interest based on economic realities. Governors say compelling states to pay may lead to 40% retirement or retrenchment.
Of course.
Disclose only 10 subnational governments can afford new salary structure. Dayo, before I come to you on this matter, let's just look at other papers that are reporting this story. Of course, the Daily Sun newspaper is reporting minimum wage labor adamant on 250,000 naira. Says Tinubu's response will determine next step. The Daily Trust reporting governors spend billions on cars for lawmakers. It's misplacement of priorities, activists, CSOs. Now, the tripartite committee negotiation has moved one step forward. Government moving to 62,000 naira. Labour saying, well, we have come down to 250,000 naira. This morning I heard Bayo Nanuga live on a radio station saying that, well, they will now present this news to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who will expectedly okay it or say, well, we've not given enough to Labour. And Labour is saying, well, they will wait to hear from the president. Thereafter, they will know what next to do.
You see, the way I think Labour's gamble may pay off. You know, we discussed the other time.
Yes.
I think some time ago, the president said we can afford 200,000. Do you get me? And I bought into that. Now, if they are on 250 is not that far from 200,000. And you see, Bagudu has said what I think is the sensible economic thing. Get in terms of government or state capacity to pay.
Yeah, the governors have come out clear to say, look, we cannot pay even that 60,000.
That's what I mean by state capacity. You see, let's see what the president does. I won't be surprised if he okays between 150 and 200.
You think the president will take it that far?
Well, so you know it's far now. So you know it's far now.
No, because
it has been a ridiculous thing from the beginning.
Yeah,
Not
no.
realistic.
They're just trying to haggle like
I'm saying
Nigeria.
that far
No,
because
I'm trying to look back. No, somewhere along the line, let somebody deny that. The president said Nigeria can afford 200,000. I read it somewhere. And we have discussed it here. So if they are now between 250 and 62.
yeah, so the gap is closing.
by far from the 500 before.
But Labour is still saying...
I thought there will be no meeting point before.
No, there's still no meeting point. It's just that the government side had moved up marginally.
Why put everything on the president's table? That is not on.
Why go back and have that whole conversation, say, okay, we're going to send Wale Edun to come up with actual figures, and they come back and add only 2,000 naira on it?
No, well, the president said...
That's the calculation.
No, what the president said was that
I think it's large.
Federal government is ready to go beyond 60,000. That was on the table as at that time.
They added 2K.
So 2K, they have gone above 60,000, right? But
I don't. To their word.
Was that the intention of the president when he said just to add 2,000? But I just said, okay, we'll move over to 62,000.
Look, they have politicized industrial relations now. You get me? And I doubt if it will help the economy at the end of the day. You see.
Well, the position of the governors that they cannot even pay 60,000. So it's like putting a spanner in the negotiation. That they shouldn't even bother to go beyond that 62.
It's affordability because it's not there unless they will be paying salary and not do anything.
Well, even when
although that did not stop them from buying cars.
Yes.
That's what I was going to say.
But
so
even when it was 30, many were not paying.
Yeah.
But again, a state like Edo State had already gone to 70,000 even before the negotiation started.
Yeah, that's the governor that means business.
And Edo State is not the richest state in Nigeria in terms of internally generated revenue, or in terms of allocation from federation accounts. But the governor Obaseki had already moved beyond what they were even discussing.
That's great.
But I think at the end of the day, you know, the discussion, states should be allowed to negotiate with labor. There's a National Minimum Wage Act, which states that there has to be a national minimum wage. So the discussion of states should be able to negotiate with their workers, I think is out of point for now.
Anyway,
there has
they can
to
start
be
from the national minimum wage. They can increase that minimum.
Well, wait,
it
doesn't mean
which is what's
the
minimum
minimum
in Edo
wage
State.
is the minimum. This is a federation now, not states. States have various resources. They have various. They don't have standard. Besides what they get from the center, they have resources. They have internally generated revenue. Some states can afford it.
Well, Vanguard is reporting experts see danger around minimum wage battle. President, National Assembly will determine our next action. Labour is saying alleges conspiracy between governors, OPS, organized private sector. TUC writes Akpabio for labeling strike as an act of economic sabotage. Governors, senators, reps should also earn 62,000 naira minimum wage. The priest saying, well...
See, they say conspiracy between government and organized private sector. What do they expect? Is the organized private sector that will pay salaries?
Of course. Yes. So if we look at the Guardian newspaper, rising cost of borrowings, economy in throes of credit squeeze, sheds 7.1 trillion naira in 3 months. And the Punch newspaper reporting fuel, food lead as imports hits 12 trillion naira. Manufacturers import 1.5 trillion naira. Raw materials, food import gobs 921 billion naira. Nigeria gets 19 trillion naira. Forex from crude oil, solid mineral exports, others. The Nigerian Tribune newspaper, anti-open grazing bill. Miachi Alapande for Haneze in fresh row. Lawyers insist on proposed law. Farmers headers crisis. Threat to corporate existence of Nigeria CUPP. The bill that is before the National Assembly, the Senate, on this anti-open ban on open grazing.
I'm sure they will pass the bill.
Yes, but how to implement it?
It is,
you remember what happened in Benue State? Yes. When Benue State passed a similar law, and Mietiala came out to say, well, they're not going to comply. And after that, there was bloodletting here and there.
To test the mettle of government. If a government makes a law, it must be able to execute it.
Yeah.
Let's leave that with government.
Okay, let's look at the papers from the Southern African region. Of course, we'll start with South Africa, where the Citizen newspaper is reporting Zuma inaction cost ANC polls. Of course, the ANC Veterans League chair, they're making that statement that if only the ANC had been decisive about Jacob Zuma, he would not have come back to haunt them as it has done with his MK party.
Yeah, living in denial. They dragged him through the courts.
Yes.
They arrested him. I mean, inaction is...
Of course, that is the law.
So we can't use the word
That is the
inaction
law.
when we're talking about Jacob Zuma. Because
They are trying to exonerate themselves.
Exactly. But inaction isn't the word we would use to describe
Well,
that.
let's look at what's happening in Zimbabwe. The Herald newspaper reporting Zimbabwe close to joining BRICS.
Yes.
Of course, the body comprising Brazil, Russia, India, China, and of course South Africa. It's a new powerhouse in global politics and the economy, yes. And Zimbabwe, what will that mean for Zimbabwe joining?
And, you know, it's interesting because I believe Nigeria has also indicated an interest in joining
join
BRICS. So I think we're seeing a shift in policy of wanting to align so much with Mr. Shobwale's favorite institutions, the IMFs and the World Banks, and possibly looking east and seeing where we can get other solutions and
not just looking
markets.
east, of course, India.
You are trying, see, you know what they call North and South. Get me? The North being the West and the South being the poor people now. So looking for other ways to exist without these oppressors.
You said it right.
Well, the Daily News is reporting ANC loss good for Zimbabwe overall. Analysts say, but once the local opposition ahead of the 2028 general, can they come together and upset ZANU-PF?
If only I was a prophet. If only I was a prophet. But I think opposition parties across Africa are celebrating. I saw Peter Obi was also celebrating the electoral process in South Africa. So I think this has been something that's motivated a lot of African opposition parties. But I believe that's all we have time for today, unfortunately. Mr. Dayo Shobwale, Mr. Emmanuel Lefeni, thank you so much. I always love the newspaper reviews. Such a robust analysis. Thank you for your time today.